Tori used to tell me, like, if we were struggling, he said, hey, it's just your time. You know, because you're going to struggle. It's just a matter of when. Everybody's going to struggle. If you're one of those guys that don't, then, hey, all I can do is tip my hat to you. Your focus is a lot better than mine because I can lose my focus from the on-deck circle to the batter's box sometimes, And but I usually try to take something positive, get the kids to take something positive out of everything that they do. And if there's nothing positive, I tell them to just stay positive, regardless. And then that's just kind of what you have to do with these kids because, usually when they go home and come back the next day, they're usually okay. Like I said, but it depends on the age group. And it depends on that kid because you have some of them that are ADHD and just, they're always moving and they always worry about everything, overanalyzing everything. Right. Sometimes you just got to play and just let it be what it's going to be.
Right. And that's big. And we go back to learning from our mistakes, and perseverance is really big, it seems, for you right here. And you mentioned everyone goes through a slump, even those major leaguers. We see it all the time. So it's great advice that you're giving to kids. Just keep going, keep staying positive, and I'm sure you guys do the same as well. Going off on another note, though, I want to hit on life outside of the dugout. When it comes to the development of athletes, it's so important to address those who support them. Rich, this question's for you. What are the biggest messages you share with parents or guardians throughout their child's development?
I think patience is probably the biggest thing that a lot of parents have trouble with. They want results now, even though that, they don't understand that, you really, in the baseball and even in life, you learn a skill once and then you have to do it like a million times to be good at it, right? So, and I think the patience factor is really where it is. And sometimes it's even looking through rosy-colored glasses. We all love our kids and we all think our kid is the best on the field, and sometimes we need to take a step back and go, okay, hang on a minute. Right. Let's have a real conversation with ourselves about where my son's development is, or where my child's development is, and how can we now progress from there. And I think that's one of the hardest things, especially as a parent, is that, sometimes it's worth taking that step back and saying, okay, why is my son not getting the opportunities that maybe this kid's getting?
Right.
And having that real internal struggle of he's my kid, and I want this so much for him, and I know his dreams of wanting it. How do I now, progress his career and be patient in the fact that he's not going to college at 8. We always talk about, the fact that, in these 10-year-old games, there's no college people in the stands. There's no college scouts in the stands. There's no pro scouts in the stands right now, If you can continue to develop by 17, 18, if you have done your work, it will progress the way you want it to progress.
Right. And that's huge. Right. And we mentioned it before, is patience. Development's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It's kind of like a diamond. You're not going to get that there. So it's really important to learn that. And again, we want to learn a little bit more about you guys and kind of see where your guys' heads are at. We know the MLB playoffs are going on. One of the things we actually preach a lot at our LFY clinics and coaches clinics is sportsmanship. And we wanted to see who you guys think, as an MLB player currently, who do you guys think embodies the quality of sportsmanship the most? Rich, we'll start off with you here.
I was lucky enough to play with Trout. I mean, obviously,
took the words right out of my mouth.
I was lucky enough to play with Trout. Like he does have that, good American kid sort of situation. He's not looking to show anybody up. He's not looking to do anything that will look detrimentally on the organization or himself or his name. I think that's something that is really special about him. And you have all these people complaining that he's not as maybe accessible or as being on the commercials that maybe he should be, but and somewhat in the old school way of thinking that he just goes about it the right way, right? And it's obviously in the last few years, the game is changing in the fact that, the whole let the kids play situation, right?
Right.
And I think, and I'm actually quite enjoying the fact that, as a pitcher and as a guy that was a little fiery on the mound, I suppose, we're all competitors, right? The guy pimps one off you and, hits it however many feet and then just would walk halfway down the line and, and bat flip on you.
Mm-hmm.
As a player, as a competitor, I was probably not all that pleased if somebody did that to me. But, looking back now, I'm like, hey, man, you should have made a better pitch.
Right. Scott, you seem to agree with Rich on Mike Trout. Do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, you know what? I enjoy watching him play, man. He just does the basics. You know what? He ain't out there. He's not flashy. He's not going to show you up. He's just on the grind all the time. And that's what I like about his game. He's being seen, not heard. And you get a lot of these kids out here that, they imitate. We did it when we was little. We imitated guys, Barry Bonds and Bobby Bowe and all these guys, Ken Griffey and all them hitting bombs, pimping and stuff like that. But as the game goes on, as the day, it's getting a little bit crazy. I know, when we was playing, some of the balls that they hit out of the ballpark and throw their bat up in the upper deck and celebrate, you get hit in the neck. You get in the fastball. But, and that's why I would like to see the game be like it used to be. Just play hard. You know what I miss the most? Sliding into second base and taking the shortstop out. Running over the catcher once in a while. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I miss because sometimes it can make a change in the game. Right. Double play, you take him out and he throws the ball in the dugout. Game over. You win the World Series on plays like that.
Right.
We miss that. And I miss all that competitive edge. But you know what? The game is coming. Had our hiccups along the road. They need to fix them, get the game back the way it's supposed to be, and, let everybody enjoy it. That's all.
Oh, right. Exactly. And, Mark, do you want to add on to that as well?
Well, the most sportsmanship guy I ever played with, I don't know if you guys know, but John Olerud.
Yeah.
He was he was actually a teammate, a roommate at spring training at one time, and he was just the most quietest and just went about the game, and could just flat out hit and play. But you would have never known it because he was just so quiet, man. You're like, John, do you ever talk? Yeah, sometimes. I was his roommate. I was like, man, you never talk to me. You just come home and, hey, we're going to eat. I don't know. Whatever. I'm like, real subtle and real laid back, and when you say something about sportsmanship, that's the first name that came to my mind, because I played with him and I've seen him on other teams as well. And I asked somebody about him, they'll tell me the same thing. So he was that way throughout his career, and I respected that.
Right.
What's the truth about the John Olerud, Ricky Henderson story? Does anyone know that one? Where it's like, hey,
when we were on the bus, when they were on the bus.
Hey, I used to play with a guy that wore a helmet just like you.
Yeah, that's a true story, man. Somebody with John Olerud and didn't even know it. because John was just that quiet.
Yeah.
Just went about his business.
It's the quiet ones that are
Ricky, you got to believe that story.
Oh, that's
I mean,
it was like I got a story about him being on the bus. He's in the back of the bus, and he said, "Hey, you got to get out of that seat. I got tenure. It's like tenure. I got 10 years in. You got to move. That type deal.
Yeah, we got 15 years. Yeah,
exactly. But he was just a character. Ricky was a character, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you guys. That's a wrap for our first ever Coaches Chat Room. Thank you guys so much for sharing your insights, stories, and knowledge. It was an honor to get to have you all with us. We look forward to seeing you guys at the future at our clinics as well. And to all those at home, thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't already, take a scroll through our new Lessons with the Legends blog and explore messages and life skills from other former major leaguers like these gentlemen here with me today. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.